Welcome to the announcement of MS-DOS 6. I'm Brad Chase. I'm the general manager of MS-DOS, and I'm very excited to be here. This is my hometown where I grew up, to introduce MS-DOS 6. I have a few things I want to take care of first. I want to explain how this is working today because there's some very special things that we're doing. This event is being downlinked to over 20 user groups across North America. And in each user group, the user group host has selected a charitable organization for the people attending the meeting to donate money to. Microsoft will match those donations, therefore giving the charitable organizations double the money. Here in San Francisco, we're being hosted by 5 user groups. And I'd like to recognize the hosts here and thank them for having us. Fred Townsend from the Silicon Valley Computer Society, Jan Altman from the Stanford Palo Alto Computer Society, Steve Greenberg from the Golden Gate Computer Society. Steve, you're a popular guy. Susan Klum from the San Francisco PC User Group. Steve, maybe you and Susan should get together. And from the Diablo Valley User Group, Steve Israel. Wow. Steve, I want to meet you afterwards. Before I get started, I want to get a little sense for the background of the people in the audience. How many people here use MS-DOS 5? Wow. How many people here used MS-DOS 4? Don't be shy, you can raise your hands. How many people here used MS-DOS 3.x, 3.3, or 3.0? Very good. All right, now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. How many people here used MS-DOS 2? Oh. All right. For those with real testosterone, how many people here used MS-DOS 1? Give yourself a round of applause. That's fantastic. You are the true veterans and have seen MS-DOS come quite a ways over the past 10 years, actually over 10 years now. Okay, we've talked about the charities, we've talked about the downlink. I have a sense for the number of people here who have used various different versions of MS-DOS. Well, now that we know these people are downlinked, we also can find out how many people are actually listening to us directly. We actually have a two-way audio with many of the 20 sites. So I'm going to start and see who's here. Redmond, Washington, Microsoft headquarters, with the MS-DOS 6 development team, who I'd like to congratulate for a great job, is Brad Silverberg, my boss, and the Vice President of the Personal Systems Division. Brad, are you there?
Sure. How are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing great. Brad, double Brad. I better move on. Toronto, Alec, are you here?
Hi, Brad. This is Alec. I'm here with about 1,000 folks from the Personal Computer Club of Toronto, and our charity of choice is Frontier College. It is an adult literacy group.
We're having trouble hearing Toronto. It sounds like they're on a space shuttle. I think Alec was telling us that the charity that they chose, as well as how many people are in Toronto. Let's try Mexico City. Rodrigo, are you here?
Yes, we are here. We are with a bunch of enthusiastic users from Mexico City.
Okay. Seattle. Russ Stockdale, are you here? Downtown Seattle. This is a true story. Russ is expecting, him and his wife are expecting a baby any minute. I suspect he actually got beeped. Sacramento, Jay Arnold, test manager, are you here?
Hi, Brad.
Hey, Jay, as a test manager, I assume it's still okay that we ship the product?
PC Users Group, and the money that we are gathering today goes to the local United Way chapter.
Ah, great. United Way in Sacramento. Okay, let's try Seattle again. Russ, are you still there? That's probably raining. Montreal, Norm, are you there? Whoa. thank you, Norm. Kirk in Houston, are you here? How do you think I feel? Kirk, are you here? Well, they went out for barbecue. Nancy in Boston, are you here? Thank you, Nancy. Eric in Pasadena, are you here? Let's go to Monterrey, Mexico. Gabrielle, are you here? That's in Mexico. Gabrielle, how do you say smart drive in Spanish? Smart drive, right. I didn't realize it would be so easy to pick up new languages. Costa Mesa, California. John Lazarus, are you here? Wow, fantastic. Thank you, John. Okay, Sergio in Dallas, are you here? I heard a big cheer. John in Washington, D.C., are you here? I bet Bill and Hillary's cat does windows too. Brian in Phoenix, are you here? Fantastic. Brian, I understand you had a tip for how we could get around the dreaded MS-DOS path limit. Can you tell it to us? Do you have a tip for getting around the MS-DOS path limit? If you didn't get that in the honest, it's a very special tip. We'll talk about it later. I think I skipped Vancouver. Vancouver, British Columbia. Steve, are you here? All right, fantastic. Thank you, Steve. Randy in Philadelphia, are you here? Fantastic. Thank you, Randy. Rich in Chicago, are you here? Fantastic. Thank you, Rich. Mark in Winnipeg, are you here? Great. Thank you, Mark. Anne Marie in Danbury, are you here? Great, thank you, Anne Marie. And finally, Mike in St. Louis, are you here? Great, thank you, Mike. Mike, are you still there? Thank you, Mike. Okay. Everybody's here in one form or another. And now, I don't know, I'd say that's about 10,000 people watching all together, maybe more than that. It's unbelievable. So now that we know that everybody's here and we have our initial business underway, let's roll the tape. Hit it. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our chairman, Mr. Bill Gates.
Well, this is a big milestone for the world's most popular software product. I want to remind everybody that the role played by MS-DOS goes far beyond the number of copies that it sold. MS-DOS was the product that represented our concept that hardware and software could be independent. That is, that hundreds of hardware manufacturers could build great machines, and yet all of them could run the same base of software. It was that vision that led us to create the MS-DOS operating system and go out to software developers and really revolutionize the software industry. Well, our vision there worked. The more copies of MS-DOS we sold, the more software was written, and the more software was written, the more copies of MS-DOS we sold. That positive feedback phenomena led to the results you see here. And today, we have well over 100 million active users of MS-DOS systems. Now, throughout this history of MS-DOS, we've improved the product. There are some things that make it very difficult. For example, we can't make the product very large, and we have to keep it upwards compatible. But even within those constraints, we've been able to do quite a bit. Well, how much is this 100 million? It's a big number. It's a new copy every 4 seconds since we got going. It's a copy for everybody who's been to a football game since 1985. And if we take the manual, maybe, I don't know if this is a positive statistic or not. I don't know whether anybody ever read these things either, but it's enough pages to reach the moon 20 times. So MS-DOS has sold in numbers that even exceed very popular consumer products. Well, MS-DOS was conceived to run on a 16K memory system. And the 88 processor that ran that is less than 1% of the speed of today's popular systems. And so I think it's quite impressive that we've been able to scale it during that time to add all of these new features while maintaining the compatibility. The first big step, 2.0, in 1983, was the tree-structured file system, the hierarchical file system. That was done for the so-called XT-based computer that had a very generous 10 megabyte hard drive. Today I have 32 megabytes of memory, so it doesn't seem as big as it did back then. 3.0 is when we got into the networking business. That was designed also to work with the first 286 systems, for example, IBM's AT. 3.3 was in 1987. That came out about the same time as the next round of IBM advances, the PS2 family, and it supported their new hardware, the advanced floppies and extended partitions. Well, 4.0 was not a high note in the history of MS-DOS, so we'll skip over that. But 5.0, I think, made up for that. 5.0 was the first time that we really recognized that not only did we have an opportunity and a duty to the new users of MS-DOS, but also that we could do excellent things for the people who already had their computers. And so it was up to us to make sure that we made it smaller and faster every new release and got the word out about how people could get more out of their PC. Well, the DOS 5 upgrade product went on to fantastic success. No upgrade of any product has ever sold nearly as much. In fact, today we can say that millions of people moved up to that new product. And so tonight, about almost 2 years later, it's great to have the next major milestone in this history of MS-DOS. I want to reinforce a key point here, which is that as we add this power, we're doing it without forcing you to go out and buy new hardware. MS-DOS 6 works great on even the original kind of PC. We made sure that we tighten up the code and keep this kernel size very, very small. You can see we were creeping up in size all the way to 4.0, and then with 5.0 we actually dropped down, and now with 6.0 we're the same size as we were with 5.0. So it's a pretty good deal, almost a free lunch. Our goals in designing new versions are that we have to make it a compelling product, not only for character mode DOS users, but also for that growing base of Windows users. It's critical to us that we make it very easy to install, very safe in terms of any changes we make to your system, and perhaps most importantly of all, that it preserves the incredible investment that's been made in writing MS-DOS applications and in users learning those applications and having them on their systems. And so this means that we've had to undergo the most extensive testing process for any product that we've ever done. Well, the headline feature for MS-DOS 6 is certainly the double space capability. We're seeing here an example of somebody who on their C drive was almost out of space, probably was thrashing on their great 66 megabyte drive, and after they ran double space, they went from that almost out of space condition to having over 57 megabytes free. And this is a very, very big difference. All the applications out there are getting bigger, even Microsoft applications. And so we think it's a very timely step for people to have. Now today, only 2% of users have this kind of capability. So we think that to make it really widespread, we had to integrate it in and do it as part of the DOS operating system. Now when I say integrated, what I mean is that you don't have special lines in your config file. You don't have to change your config file whatsoever. I also mean that as you're setting this up or using it, there's no problem at all if your machine, if the power goes off, or you try and restart. In fact, we're going to take a look at that a little later on. There's no funny files here that you have to think about. It's just simply a matter of giving a command and off we go and double the size of your disk. Now this was a feature that we were very concerned about, and so we really focused in on testing this, and it's by far the most tested feature not only in MS-DOS history, but I think of any software product at any time. We made this one rock solid. Now we have some other key features. We don't want to just think about double space because there's a lot of changes in this product. In fact, I won't even have a chance to mention all the different things we did. Perhaps the second most important is the way we've made it easy to find your upper memory. DOS 5 had the concept of these UMBs, or upper memory blocks, where if you were smart enough to tell us which pieces of code to move up above that 640K boundary, we would be willing to do that. But we didn't make it easy. We didn't make it so we found those places for you and did the configuration. And that's what MemMaker is all about. It'll find everything that's a candidate for putting up high, look at all the slots up there, and come up with the optimal configuration for having things up in high memory. And so we'll see later that this can often save over 100K of low memory. Some other big features are the backup program. For the first time, I would say the backup in MS-DOS is really a top-notch feature. This is a case where the speed and the compression we get really make it something that a wide set of users should use. We also have, for the first time, antivirus capability, and we have much better improved undelete. Now, the utilities that we're talking about here, actually Microsoft got a lot of help from other companies. It was Symantec's Norton Group that worked together with us on backup, and CentralPoint that worked with us on both the antivirus and for the improvements we've made in our undelete capability. Now, unlike with DOS 5, all of these new features do come with Windows user interface. So you can either work in character mode under DOS or work under Windows without having to go back to DOS. Just on this slide, I've got a little bullet points for some of the other features that are here. Some new utilities like Move and Deltree, very extensive online command reference, and multi-configuration support, much better smart drive capability that integrates in with the double space, and a whole bunch of other features that we think lots and lots of users will find worthwhile. I want to reinforce this point about it being a great product for Windows users. Of course, Windows applications, since they're so powerful, they do take up a lot of disk space, The tools are there for the user interface, and even Windows users want to have as much low memory as possible so that any of their low memory drivers or character mode applications they run can be sure to fit in memory. So I think that all Windows users will benefit significantly by moving up to this new version. We have two thrusts in getting this product out to the world. The first is what we're talking about tonight, the upgrade product, and that's going to be out there with a lot of excitement, a lot of visibility. Perhaps less visible, but just as important in terms of volume, is the commitment we have from hardware manufacturers to ship this product. Virtually every MS-DOS licensee is signed up to provide their users with MS-DOS 6. This includes all 50 of the top 50 PC manufacturers, and most of those manufacturers will go ahead and pre-install it on the system. We're big believers that having any of the system software, whether it's MS-DOS or doublespace or even Windows itself, having it there so when you turn on the system, that's a huge convenience. Even our smaller volume OEMs will be able to benefit from MS-DOS because we've come up with new ways to distribute MS-DOS, in particular what we have called the Microsoft Easy Distribution System. And so you'll see MS-DOS 6 on high volume PCs and low volume PCs alike, and this will start to happen very, very soon. In fact, in April, I think we'll already see the majority of new machines shifted over to use MS-DOS 6. As we put the product out into the market, we do have our standard products and support services in the U.S., 90-day upgrade support. After that, people can go with the 900 number if they choose. We also put a number of our best technicians up on CompuServe, so any questions you have or even comments, thoughts about the next version, we're very interested to get those through this online capability. We also have our FaxBack, Fast Tips, and a download service where we give you a phone number. You can download any drivers or things, tips that might be helpful to you. We're also taking things like our Microsoft Technical Network, where we provide a monthly CD to support coordinators and putting all the DOS information there, and using Microsoft University through its courses and its video to get people up to speed very quickly on everything they need to know about MS-DOS version 6. We've taken a very global approach to this product, and we're pleased that we've got it out already today in most of the major languages, and we'll add a few more languages in 30 days, a lot of the Nordic languages. And within 60 days, we'll have it available in all the key languages that we sell software in. This is the kind of localization performance that we're aiming to get on all of our products, so we feel we've done a very strong job here. It will be aggressively priced in its first period on the market. We expect in the U.S. it'll be priced at under $50. You may see some variation from place to place, but almost everywhere, somewhat under $50. In Canada, under $60. After May 31st, the suggested retail price will go up to about $130 in the U.S. and $156 in Canada. I do want to say that this is not the end at all. In fact, the work we're already doing on the next major version is very, very exciting. It'll be more than a year before we get that out, so there's no reason to wait. You can go ahead and upgrade to this version and get lots of value out of it. But it's not the end of the road. MS-DOS version 7 is a big change. In fact, I think it's fair to say that it's the biggest change ever since the beginning of DOS. Despite the fact that it's a big change, it will be completely compatible. And in fact, this is all being done as part of an overall effort you sometimes read about in the trade press, which is our Chicago effort that includes both a new version of Windows for DOS and DOS itself. And we've been able to really rationalize what belongs in DOS, what belongs in Windows, so that DOS users will actually get a lot of features that aren't associated with graphical interface that probably should have been down in DOS. Now pure DOS users will be able to get all of those. So it's a very exciting thing, and I think it shows the kind of commitment we have to this incredible installed base and phenomena that's grown up around DOS. A couple promotions going on at this time. We really think that as you go in to get your DOS 6 upgrade, it's a good chance to consider any other add-on products or upgrade products. And to encourage that, we have a deal where if you buy $350 of products, you get a free upgrade of any other Microsoft product. In fact, because of the retail traffic, I think there's a lot of software vendors doing specials right now, so it's a great time to go in and really refurbish all the software on your PC and get the latest and greatest. So, in summary, this is a product we're very excited about. We have built an amazing number of these, and so we're certainly hoping that people agree with us that this is a big step forward. With that, let me ask Brad to come back up because I want a chance to actually show you this product in action. So we got MS-DOS 6 running here?
Yeah, we have MS-DOS 6 on this machine, but we haven't double-spaced it yet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think we should start that. What
Let's
do you
do
think?
it.
All right, let's do it. So I'll type double-space, and you just talked about how it was designed to be really safe and really easy to use. I'm going to take the defaults here. The express setup mode, essentially all you have to do is know how to press the enter key, or C in this case, for compress. And boom, we're actually starting the process right here, Bill. We check the disk to make sure it's in good shape before we start the actual compression process. And double-space does a little check and then restarts the system. And then, once it restarts, it will start the actual process of compressing this disk. We have about 30 megabytes, I think, worth of data on this system. And it's, you know, it's going to be quite something to watch how we do this, because with double-space, you don't have to have expertise. Just press enter a few times and boom, and off you go.
So you're just going to sit here and it's going to double the disk?
Yeah, it will double the disk, and in addition to that, it will handle all the special things under the covers that people worry about. For example, your Windows permanent swap file gets placed in the right place automatically. All your files get placed in the right location on the disk, and everything looks normal. In fact, your C drive is your C drive, and you don't notice any difference, really.
Oh, here's an interesting thing. When it booted, it actually brought up a menu.
Yeah, this is multi-config. This is a new feature in MS-DOS 6 too, and it allows you to define multiple configurations for your system. It's very flexible. You can define any configurations you want. In this case, we use configuration of one networked and one not networked, such as, say, if you have a docking station for a portable. And now, actually, we're into the actual compression system. Notice it gives you a start time, which is, of course, now, and a current time as well, so you could see how you're tracking. It gives you an estimate based on the speed of the hard disk and the processor about how long it's going to take. And as it starts the compression process, it revises the estimate because it has a better idea of the actual speed of your processor and your hard disk. And we're actually starting right now.
So all those files are being compressed as we watch.
That's correct. Yeah, not bad, huh?
Now what you're saying to me is that I shouldn't be afraid.
No, don't be afraid, Bill. This, you know, you saw how easy it was.
Well, you know, I'm a little worried.
Watch it.
about.
What are you worried about?
Well, you know, what if my kid came in and pulled the plug right now? Wouldn't that be pretty disastrous? I mean, here, I'll do that. I'll just turn this thing off. And I'll turn it back on. What do you think?
You don't have any kids yet, do you, Bill?
No. No.
We've designed double-space to be so safe and easy. It integrates right into the operating system. As a consequence, you don't have these multiple files to worry about. You don't have to worry about stuff, funny drivers in your config.sys. And then separately from that, we've done a bunch of things to make it safe. One of them is, even though your kid rebooted the system, we actually, I was looking to see where they went. We actually are able to bring the system back up and continue double spacing without any loss in data, without any worries. It's really quite safe. And that's kind of the hallmark of what double space is all about. Only about 2% of users use compression products because they worry about what this stuff will do to your system. And as a consequence, our focused design goal was to make it safe. And of course, it's great for Windows users too, because they're some of the people that need the hard disk space most. Well, here comes our multi-configuration menu. This time I won't wait for the timeout. I'll just press enter. And now you saw an error there, and that's because we interrupted in the middle, and some files couldn't be found. During the process of actually doing the compression, that will all get fixed automatically.
That's interesting. I guess it noticed it wasn't making much progress while it was turned off. And it's got a pretty high estimate here. Maybe as it makes more progress, that'll come down to the real time.
That's correct. As we go on here, see, it's already moving very quickly. Are you sure that your son didn't fool with the system?
No.
Actually, while this is compressing, why don't we take the opportunity to show some other features on this machine?
Okay.
All right, sound good? Okay, well, on this machine over here, I think it's a great opportunity to show MemMaker. So let's take a look at the memory on the system. You can see here we have 504K of conventional memory. So, you know, this conventional memory area, it's like downtown San Francisco real estate. It's expensive. And we want to try to get as much of it as possible. So running MemMaker will allow us to do that. Again, MemMaker is designed to be really safe and easy. You talked about this a little bit, Bill, and I'll take the default path. Just press enter. It's all I'm doing here is pressing enter. Express setup. Just press enter here. And it says, all right, let's check for Windows. And now let's restart the computer. So I press enter one more time. It's 4 enters, I think. And what happens now is MemMaker reboots the system. And as you talked about before, it takes all the network drivers, the device drivers, the TSRs, and it actually goes through and sizes those things. And when it sizes those things, it compares the size of those drivers to how much upper memory is available. It does the mathematics and the combinations to figure out how best to get most of that stuff out of conventional memory into upper memory. And it does it really smoothly and automatically. You do not know how to edit your config.sys or your autoexec.bat.
Now, you think this thing is safe?
Oh, Bill, it's very safe.
Okay, well, let's try it.
Thanks, Bill.
Boot time is great, don't you think?
Yeah. This is a 4 meg 386, and you just interrupted here in the middle of management. And well, you know that memory management sometimes has problems. MemMaker is designed so that if it encounters any problems, it could get you back to where you were before, or it could retry the memory optimization with a slightly less optimized configuration. So it won't be a little less aggressive going after upper memory. That makes it really nice. One thing also that we didn't show is it has a custom mode, so the power users like here in San Francisco can try the custom mode and, you know, fiddle with it.
So it actually noticed that we'd rebooted there.
That's right, and I'm going to say...
And it's asking, was that our fault, or is there something it should try differently?
Yeah, and I could actually choose various selections here. I could say, try again with the same settings, try again with more conservative settings, and in this type, I'll choose the same settings because I know that some person who I won't name rebooted the system, and that actually nothing was wrong with the system here. So now it will reboot, and it goes through the process of loading one more time. And in this case, what it does is it actually counts the number of configurations. I've seen over 2,000 configurations that it will check and pick the configuration that is most optimal. Now we do one final reboot, and that final reboot is to make sure that everything we've loaded into upper memory works just fine. And that's what's going on here. Again, MemMaker is really useful for Windows users as well because they need the most amount of space possible for those MS-DOS apps that they run underneath Windows. And as a consequence, it's a really nice tool for them.
So it's edited the config.sys for us.
That's correct. It put in all the settings automatically. And for those power users out there, if you go into the DOS directory, there's a file called memmaker.sts. And that file actually tracks and logs all the information that MemMaker discovered. And you could go in there and find out some very interesting things about what MemMaker did to your system. Well, everything seems to be working properly. Someone's calling to tell us how great it was. And there we go. We got actually 100,000 bytes more. Not bad.
Nice.
Yeah, okay. So let's get this prompt back up to the top of the screen. And now we can do some other stuff on the system. I understand you had some data you wanted me to copy onto a floppy.
Yeah, here's a disk.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, it's a great disk.
Why don't I trust you?
I don't know.
Well, I put the disk in the A drive, Bill, and I'd copy your data on there, but frankly, I'm a little concerned. I think I'll try to run antivirus. So antivirus, you know, is available in both an MS-DOS and a Windows version. We're looking at the Windows version here. Excuse me, the MS-DOS version here. It looks really nice. It looks exactly almost like the Windows version looks, except that you access it from MS-DOS. Now, I'm going to select a new drive. And in this case, I'm going to click on the upper part of the screen on A, because I'm a little worried about what you have on this system. And OK, let's actually choose, now that A is selected, Detect, and look for viruses. Now, the first thing it does is scan memory for viruses. And then after that, it will scan this disk that you gave me. Should I worry about this disk, Bill?
It's a great disk.
It's a great disk.
I got it from a friend.
Bill, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm a San Francisco Giant fan, and I always knew those LA Dodgers were up to no good. So I'm going to clean this virus off. And actually, in the bottom of the screen, it will quickly tell me that it's cleaned the virus. It gives me a quick report that says, hey, I found this virus and everything looks OK. Well, let's get out of this here and actually exit out of AV now. And I'll exit out of AV. It warns me, since the virus was detected, I might want to reboot. But since it was on the floppy, I don't really need to do that. So that's not too bad, huh, Bill?
It's amazing.
Now, let's look at the I heard that. Let's look at this. Let's see, there's a build directory here. These are the files that you wanted me to move onto the floppy.
Sure.
Let's see what's there. Well, let's see. You've got your budget. You've got your plan. I see you have a subdirectory called budget and another thing here.
A lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work in that. But, you know, Bill, you haven't been very nice to me. There's a new command. I thought I'd just take this perfect opportunity to show you. It's called deltree. And, you know, Bill, since you weren't very nice, I don't think I should copy these to floppy. In fact, I'll use deltree, which avoids a lot of the problems deleting files that are in directories or subdirectories, and does it all at once. I'll just press yes to that. And, Bill, I don't know how to say this, but you're gone. You're history.
Well, it's a good thing we got on delete.
Yeah. You're the chairman. Maybe I shouldn't have done this so quickly here. Of course, we have a lot of other new features I could show you as well. Let me show you online help. In this case, I'm going to choose choice, which is another new command in MS-DOS. And you can see that the online help system allows you to get notes or examples. And in fact, if I go to the directory, there's a whole bunch of things that you can get help on right here on the system, which is really quite nice.
Let's try backup.
You think we should try backup?
Sure.
Well, I don't know. Before we do that, I think I should show these users here, because these are users who appreciate this, our new clean boot feature.
OK.
OK? Now, I'm going to reboot the system, and we're going to pretend, for the sake of argument, that something was wrong with this system, and we went off to get a boot floppy. How many people have done that here? Well, you don't have to do that anymore with MS-DOS 6, because when the system boots up, I press F5, and it will bypass my config.sys and my autoexec, and I go right to the cPROM.
That's pretty good.
It also supports a new feature called Interactive Start that steps through my config.sys line by line and allows me to choose what I want to load and what I don't. And the nice thing about that is if you're having problems with your system, you could do some diagnostics by choosing to load certain drivers and not others. Shall we go back and see how we did on the compressed system?
How did we do here?
Well, let's see. Double space has finished compressing drive C, and I got a 1.8 to 1 compression ratio.
God, it only took 8 minutes, too.
Yeah, with 30 megabytes. Not bad. Let's actually have double space finish here and reboot the system up, and we'll be in a double space system. And then if you want, we could do backup.
OK.
But, you know, I should comment here that one of the important things about the tools that we have in MS-DOS 6, backup, undelete, and antivirus, is they are available in MS-DOS and Windows versions. And though I showed you the MS-DOS version of antivirus, and we'll show you the Windows version of backup, they're available in both. OK, so now we're rebooting the system here. Now, double space has done all the work automatically for me. And while this system boots up, it has a pretty long power cycle at startup. Double space is completely installed, and as a user, unless I really want to get information about it, it's completely invisible. So now MS-DOS is starting, and here comes our menu. I'll skip the network this time, and we go right into Windows. And you wanted to run backup, you said, right? It's really important, I think, to show how we've integrated the tools as well. For example, Undelete is right on the File menu. And in addition, we have a Tools menu that we add to your system. So you could choose backup or antivirus from here. If you're a Windows 4 Workgroups user, the toolbar actually has additional buttons that we've added that also are similar to these icons and allow you just to press on a button to select and run Undelete, backup, or antivirus. Let me double click on backup here. And here we go. Here's backup. You got a disk for me here? Should I trust it? All right, I'm actually going to do the backup here. We're all configured. We're backing up about 1 mega data or so to the floppy in A. I'm going to Alt-Tab here and get back to the Program Manager because we're in Windows and I could back up in the background while you and I talk or while I do other work. Backup actually contains a lot of neat new features inside of it, such as error correction, password protection, and it uses the double space compression to compress your data and use a minimal amount of space on the floppy or the network, wherever you happen to be backing up. So while it's finishing up here, oh, actually, there it is. It's done. We've got our 52 files. And let me go back to the File Manager, and I'll show you one last thing as we finish up the demonstration. I told you that double space is invisible if you want it to be. It will just run in the background, and you'll have, essentially double the hard disk space. And that solves a very common problem today, that is full hard disks. At the same time, if you want information about it, it's available from MS-DOS or Windows. Here we'll go into Windows and look at some of the information available. And you can see that we have a lot of free space on the system now because we just double space it. And we got a 1.8 to 1 compression ratio. I could even look at file-to-file compression if I want to. Doc files will compress better than bitmap files, or bitmap files may compress better than doc files. It all depends on the data. As a general rule, things like bitmaps and doc files will compress very well. Things like executables or maybe data that's already compressed will not compress well or will not compress at all. That finishes the demonstration, Bill.
Looks good.
What do you think? Now it's time for the Q&A. We are going to do the question and answers from all the sites that are here on two-way audio. Let's keep in mind a couple things here. It is a very sophisticated technology to get this two-way audio to work. So if something doesn't work out, we have a Microsoft representative in each site who will be there to answer questions. Okay, with that, I want to start here with San Francisco, and I believe we have someone selected in San Francisco with a question. Is that true? And do we have that person here? I can't see at all, so I'm having... oh, right in front of me. Okay, you're right here. Your question's for Bill?
Bill, I'm Jan Altman, and I want to welcome you to San Francisco. I wanted to ask a double-edged question here. You've introduced a lot of new utilities in MS-DOS 6. First of all, for the people who are now using third-party utilities to do some of these same things, what will happen? Like, for example, what happens if you try to stack an already stacked drive? And also, did you go outside to third-party vendors, or how many of these utilities were developed by people inside Microsoft?
Well, the utility market has grown very dramatically over the last 2 years. In fact, every time we've come out with the new version of DOS, it's actually increased the size of that market. We do take the most common features that seem to be popular and build them into the product, and that really puts the onus on those third-party developers to come up with more advanced versions of their utilities. We did work very closely with a number of them in order to get the technology we have here. Our work revolved around things like Move, Deltree, a lot of things inside MS-DOS itself. Anything that was in the kernel, we did our work on. We also worked very closely with Vertisoft on the compression and did a lot of the coding that got into that part of the product. And so it's really a collaboration where we did quite a bit and the third parties did quite a bit. We're already seeing people introduce utilities that are built on top of MS-DOS 6 using the new APIs that are there and the new features to go beyond. So I have no doubt that the creativity of those groups will provide a strong future for them.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now let's try Toronto. Alec, are you here and do you have a person with a question? All right, we're here. Are you here, Alec? Do we have a question?
Yes, the question is, we're very impressed with the advances made by DOS 5, and obviously DOS 6 looks very promising, but we still have the problem of the 640K user memory barrier. Can this be broken? And can the lower 640K be used for such like BIOS or video memory and all the other memory above 640K being made directly accessible and available for other applications?
Thank you. The question was, can we get rid of the 640K barrier?
Right. Well, everything between 0 and 1 megabyte actually can be addressed in DOS type applications, and so that's why products like MemMaker move the system software up there. And many of the manufacturers have put as much memory as possible into that area. Getting beyond 1 megabyte requires changes to those programs. The very way that they compute memory pointers doesn't allow them to get beyond the 20 bits of address that address that memory. And so it's in the Windows memory management technique or these DPMI type techniques that you can get above 1 megabyte and literally deal with up to 32 gigabytes of memory.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's try Sacramento. Jay, are you there? And do you have someone with a question? Oh, Mexico City's here. All right, who's here? Mexico City, are you here? Mexico City, are you here? Okay, let's go Sacramento. Sacramento, Jay, are you here?
Okay.
The question was, we heard a rumor that MS-DOS 6 was going to have a workgroup connection feature. Can you comment on that?
Yes, the additional features that let you connect up to a network, both the mail and the MS network connection software that works with all of our networking products, is available as an add-on product.
That's correct. And in fact, our corporate customers during the beta process, when we were testing this SKU, MS-DOS 6 with Workgroup Connection, told us that they were worried about their customers who already were on a network installing this and having problems. So since they were already available in the separate product, we left it available in the separate product and allowed people to get it that way. So if you need it, that stuff is available in a separate product, and you could build a great little network using Windows for Workgroups and on your Windows machines and Workgroup Connection on your MS-DOS machines. Okay, let's try Mexico City again. Mexico City, are you here? Boy, we're having trouble in Mexico City. It must be the water. Seattle, are you here? Seattle, are you here?
Yeah.
I can hear you. The question is, why do we still have a 1024 cylinder limit in MS-DOS after all these years? The answer is that the 1024 cylinder limit is actually a limitation of the BIOS. And the BIOS is actually something that's been designed by PC manufacturers. And we are working with them to update the BIOS to allow us in MS-DOS to support the 1024 cylinder limit in future versions. Okay, let's try Winnipeg. Winnipeg, are you here? Winnipeg, are you here? Okay, do you have a question for myself or Bill? The question is, can you comment on how the importance of product support and documentation affect the quality of a product?
Well, we certainly believe that product support and documentation are key elements. We spend over $100 million a year just in the U.S. on our product support services. That is, having people who in a variety of ways, whether it's the phone or online services, can answer questions. User education, the documentation, is also a huge investment. It's about the same size as we make in the development investment. And we're continually seeking feedback on any of these aspects of the product. You know, how can we do the manuals better? Should we move from print-based to online? Should we be more tutorial? In the case of all of our products, we have made significant improvements in documentation as we moved up in versions. One of the feedback we got on MS-DOS was actually to simplify the documentation quite a bit. And so you'll see here with MS-DOS 6, we've taken a new step, even done some fun things to make the document very approachable and actually have less pages than in the past.
All right, we're going to try one more time. Mexico City, I'm hoping you're here. We want to hear from you. Are you here? Do you have a question? Great. Let's have a question in English, please. Good question. The question is, how does compression affect the performance of your system? The answer to that question is that if you measure it technically, you can get approximately an 8% reduction in the speed of your system when you've compressed a system. It varies significantly based on the processor in your system. However, most users actually can't notice that difference even though it is measurable. So I think you'll find that most users, once they install double-space on their system, will notice no difference or very, very minimal difference, if anything at all.
Yeah, what happens is that there's actually some computation to be done as we write out the data in order to find the repeating patterns and therefore make the compressions. And so the overhead is there mostly when you're doing writing. In scenarios that involve a lot of reading, it's more like 1 or 2%. So on a typical benchmark like Babco, it'll be very, very small.
That's correct. That's correct. Okay, thank you, Mexico City. I'm glad we got through to you. Montreal, do you have a question? I didn't quite hear the question, did you?
The question is, how long do we think DOS in its current state is going to last? Well, I think there'll probably be somebody still using some old version of DOS 20 years from now. You know, there's lots of people that once something's working, you know, they're very loyal to that and don't want to change it around. We are making some very substantial changes in DOS to make it more powerful, while at the same time encouraging people to go up to graphics interface. So I think it's fair to say that DOS, you know, DOS will be around and we'll be enhancing it for many, many years to come. We can see a time, perhaps 5 years from now, when typical systems will be powerful enough to run the technology we call Windows NT. But we're going to wait and let the marketplace tell us when it's ready for us to make that transition.
Thank you. Boston, do you have a question? Okay, the question was, how do you see the world of applications changing as we move to a more document-centric world?
Well, we've been taking steps in that direction. Certainly the ability to run multiple applications and move data through the clipboard allowed people to think a little bit more about their data. The biggest step that we've made, though, is this object technology that's now being built into Windows and that we call OLE, Object Linking and Embedding. With OLE version 1, you could take objects of any type and put them in applications. So in a word processing document or a spreadsheet, and all you had to do was click on that data, and whether it was voice or a formula or a movie, you'd immediately have a window come up with that information. The next big step, and one that software developers have already begun, is the OLE 2.0. And in the case of this, you really move to a pretty pure document-centric model where you don't even get a new window. As you pick different types of data, it's simply the menus that change, and you perform your operations. And so you don't have to think about, am I moving to the spreadsheet? Am I moving to the word processor? You simply navigate through the document, and anything you pick is automatically brought in. I think the transition to be fully document-centric will take another 2 or 3 years, but it's a big step forward in usability, and one that we're glad that the industry is investing in.
Great, thank you. Good question. Pasadena, do you have a question? The question is, given the cost of continually advancing your software and your hardware, how do you see getting a computer in every home?
Well, I think the biggest barrier to getting a computer into every home is actually the relevance of the applications, as well as the ease of getting at those applications. I think we still need dramatic improvements in the breadth of these applications and how you approach them before we can expect to be in every home. Certainly there are some digital technologies that involve taking high-speed data communications, whether it's cable or phone, into the home and offering things like home shopping or multiplayer games, video conferencing, things that today's computers are not capable of doing, but if they're packaged the right way, might be very exciting to that home user. And so I really think we need, even more advances, and of course at a very low price, to get into the home market. Even products like video games that have been so popular as consumer items have from time to time gone through new generations where people are, if they choose, can go and do the upgrade. So I think the fact that we keep improving is not the problem. I think the problem is we haven't gotten good enough, and for the broad home market, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Thank you. Very good question. Let's go back to Mexico. Monterrey, Mexico. Do you have a question? Come on, Monterrey. We want to hear from you. Are you there? Okay, we're having trouble. We'll try to go back to Monterrey. Costa Mesa, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Do you have a question?
I support a very bright, funny fellow who lives in San Francisco named Richard Katz. He says that when will Windows stop turning a fast 486 or Pentium into a slow 8880 or Infineon?
The question is, what are we doing to make Windows faster?
Well, people always have a choice of what software they want to use. I do think that there's been some fairly substantial improvements. Certainly as we moved from Windows 2 to Windows 3, as we moved up to 3.1, and once again in this new version that we're working on called Chicago, we're able to take on comparable hardware and do a far better job. At the same time, not only is the processor getting faster, but PC manufacturers are building the video architecture with a new approach called local bus, or PCI. And this means that graphic speed is dramatically faster without the machine having to be very expensive. So the improvements at the application level, where people are getting smarter about how to do these applications, the improvement at the systems level and at the hardware level are going to make graphics interface with all of its benefits no longer a significant speed penalty. And so I certainly expect graphics interface to be the dominant way that people are using computers in the near future.
Great, thank you. Monterrey, Mexico, do we have you now? I can hear you. Do you have a question?
I'm sorry?
Good question, thank you. The question is there a way to disable the multi-config or clean boot feature in MS-DOS 6? And the answer is yes, there is. If you use switches with, I believe, the /n switch in your config.sys, that will disable that feature. Vancouver, British Columbia, are you there?
Hi.
Well, if I could repeat the question, I think it was, we want to know if Microsoft is going to offer toll-free support in Canada. I think it's a more general question. I had you for a second, though.
Well, we do invest a very large amount in support services, and we surveyed users to ask whether we should invest in hiring more technicians and training those technicians on support, or whether we'd be better applying that investment to the toll-free approach. And the feedback we got is that we should really increase the number of people and the training of those people. And so over the last year, we have more than double the number of people. In fact, not only do we have support in Toronto, we've got it in Charlotte and Dallas and out of Seattle. Because of the rapid growth, we've had to go to the many, many sites. I do expect that people who've used our support, say 2 years ago and used it now, are seeing dramatically better support. We're expecting to continue to improve that, but as far as free support goes, we're not planning to have a toll-free number. We will be coming up with some options soon that are fairly inexpensive that do involve a toll-free number.
Okay, thank you. Washington, D.C., are you there, and do you have a question? Washington, D.C.? I'm not sure what city I have. Do I have Washington, D.C.?
Or Dallas.
Okay, the question is, how can you get updates to the antivirus feature in MS-DOS 6? Good question. In the back of the manual, there is a coupon that allows you to get up to 2 updates at essentially our cost of goods, $9.95 for each. And you just mail in that coupon and you'll get the latest antivirus technology that we have. After that, there are a whole host of vendors, CenterPoint, of course, being one, and others as well, who you can buy subscriptions from if you want to get ongoing updates to your antivirus technology. Dallas, do you have a question?
Yes, we do. What advantages does DOS 6.0 have for users of some of the older machines, like the x86 class machines that still may be running DOS 3.0?
The question is, what advances does MS-DOS 6 have for people running machines prior to the 386 architecture? And that's actually quite a good question, and there's a number of features that will address these individuals. For example, doublespace works just fine on a system of even an 8086 or 8088 quality. All the new tools, antivirus, backup, etc., work quite well on those systems. And of course, you get the additional features we've shown here, like clean boot, multi-boot. You also get interlink, which is file transfer. So there's a number of features, I'm sure I'm missing many, that will work just super on a system that's even as old as an 8086 or a recent 286, a little more recent, but still older 286 system. Philadelphia. Did you hear the question?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear the question.
Well, no, we're saving that for somebody to write a book.
Next question. Chicago, do you have a question? Chicago.
You have to speak louder, Brad.
Chicago, are you there?
First, we found 17 times that Bill said DOS rather than MS-DOS, and somebody said 22, and so Brad was a bunch of quarters. And our other question, again, was whether there's going to be improvements to the documentation, something like a real MS-DOS encyclopedia, or whether we'll have to work with something complete like the program startup manual with DOS 5.
Oh, again, I had trouble hearing the question.
Okay. I think he was noting that I said DOS instead of MS-DOS. That was the first thing he said.
Oh, the quarters, right. We have an
And
internal joke in our team.
I apologize for that. The second thing is, I think he was asking about programmers' documentation and saying that the DOS encyclopedia had been very complete, but the MS-DOS 5 programmer's reference guide he didn't feel was very complete, wondering what sort of programmer's documentation we're going to have out and available for DOS 6.
Okay, great. Good question. For MS-DOS 6, we're going to enhance the programmer's documentation, the booklet you can buy. It's an MS-DOS Press book. And the programmer's guide will be enhanced, for example, with a lot of the key information about doublespace. So you could take advantage of some of the improvements we made to doublespace, and as a developer, develop applications that take advantage of some of the doublespace technology. Let me know once you get it if it's good enough for you, and if you have some specific suggestions on how we can improve it, send me a letter, and I would appreciate getting it. Thank you. St. Louis, do you have a question?
Yes, it's 2 points. First is the algorithm and the double compression the same as the aggregate? And the second part is still interested in adopting 47-year-old son on Facebook.
I think I'll handle this. I think they've really been partying in St. Louis. The first question was, tell me about the compression algorithms in doublespace in MS-DOS 6. We do use our own proprietary algorithm. It's called MERC, the Microsoft Real-Time Compression Interface. And it's a pretty standard compression algorithm, and it works very similar to many of the products on the market, but we've enhanced it for doublespace. And the second question, I think we should probably just pass on. Dan Barry, do you have a question?
I think we do. Many of our members volunteer support skills to help ALS, speech impaired, and other handicapped people communicate. Can we expect to see more support for the challenged and impaired built into DOS and Windows in the future?
Yeah, the question is, tell me about the handicap support in general for Microsoft and for MS-DOS. I can tell you that we've actually spent a lot of time on that at Microsoft. In fact, in the systems division, where I work at Microsoft, there's an individual whose primary responsibility is to champion improving software for people with disabilities. With MS-DOS 6, in the back of the manual, there's a coupon that will allow you to order the supplemental disk. And it contains a product called Access DOS that allows people with disabilities to use MS-DOS much more effectively. Okay, I think did we get everybody? I think we got everybody. Is there anybody else out there who, boy, it just feels like you're talking to the sky. Is there anybody else out there that has a question? I guess not. Okay, good. I pulled the shade. Okay, the satellite time is running out, so it's important that we finish this now. I want to take the opportunity to thank everybody throughout all of North America for participating in this event. It was a lot of fun. We appreciate your support of our products, and we appreciate you coming down to your respective location to help us announce MS-DOS 6. In each site now, we'll be taking questions from the local Microsoft person. I'll be up here for questions that we'll take off the microphone, so come on up after if you want to ask me some questions. Thank you very much.